95% of companies never find product market fit. But in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to find product market fit in under 5 minutes. Product market fit is essentially just the degree to which a product satisfies a strong market demand. First things first, you need to hypothesize an audience and a problem. So the first key that you're gonna have is aiming at a reasonably sized market. And the reason we wanna do that is because that is gonna allow you to have a focused value proposition, and that is gonna help you convert freezing cold customers into your most loyal fans. Because at the start, if you're going up against these big competitors that have this loyal fan base and this loyal customer base, you are absolutely screwed if you were just this little Tom, Dick, and Harry that no one's ever met before, no one trusted. You're gonna need something that's gonna pierce, and you can only get something that can pierce through that trust gap if you are extremely focused. As a result of choosing a very focused value proposition and a very focused market, you're going to be able to conserve resources, and you're going to create better products with blue ocean. It's more of a blue pond. And if you can get into that blue pond, you're basically going to be good to go. Because honestly, during this stage, getting your initial traction is one of the most difficult things that you can do in business and in life in general. Getting a company off the ground is not easy. So what you need to do is just get your initial traction with somebody to buy into your stuff, buy into your vision, and buy into your product, and then they can then help you go from there. The thing that messes people up in this stage is that it can be anybody. It just can't be everybody. Because if you choose and you're focused, then you're going to be able to get rapport with these people. But if you aren't focused and you just go for everybody and anybody, you're not going to be able to build rapport with them, and you're not going to be able to sell them your product. That is going to mean that you aren't going to be able to improve your product, because the only way the product is going to improve is if people use it. Then once you have your initial customers, you can use that intimacy that you have with them to improve the product, find extra problems to solve, and then expand from there. And just to back it up, I've got some case studies listed down here. You've got Facebook, who had the initial niche of some nerds from Harvard. This is basically a platform for university students. And then after they got that initial product market fit, they expanded to obviously becoming one of the biggest platforms in the world. But if they were just another social media platform for everyone, then MySpace would have taken their lunch money. But because they were able to go and focus in on the Harvard people, they were able to go from there. Example number 2 is going to be Amazon. Their initial niche was obviously bookstores. Then after they got their initial customer base, they had a bit of traction. Then they were able to start expanding out and selling other things to include a wide range of products. The third one, Tesla. So the initial niche of Tesla began focusing on high-end electric sports cars. Because they focused in so deeply at the initial stages, they were able to establish their brand in the luxury market, get a lot of traction there. And then after that, they were able to scale into other areas, Model S, Model X, later the Model 3 and the Model Y. Number 2, the next thing you're going to need to do is test fast and fail fast.
Sure? Yeah. Oh my God. Maybe that was a little too hard.
Not many people actually test their value proposition this way, but what you're going to want to go ahead and do is use something called cold email to go and run a varied range of tests. Some people think, oh no, I don't want to do any cold outreach because my value proposition isn't clear. But the question is, I would have for those people is, if you don't do any cold outreach, how are you going to find out what actually resonates with your ideal customers? The other thing that people normally say is, oh no, my product isn't ready, I can't do anything. But how are you going to find out if your product is even worth building without asking people if it's worth building? So the worst thing that can happen here is you spend 3, 4, 5 years building a product that nobody wants because you never actually have the balls to just talk to your customers and just email them. The absolute solution here is to reach out to as many of your ideal customers that you can and attempt to pre-sell it and build a wait list with varied value propositions, and then analyze the data to see why would people get interested, why would people buy, what type of value propositions can we bring, and then create a statistical protocol about what is the best value proposition. You can hypothesize all you want, but the only thing that really matters is what the customer says. You can think, oh, my ideas are so good, but if the customer doesn't care, you're screwed. The faster you can test these things, the better position you're going to put yourself in. The one caveat is that most people send 3 or 4 emails and think, oh no, my customer said no, they don't like it. Oh no, they're out of office, they don't want to talk to me. That is just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why would you talk to 3 customers and think that is the indicator of the entire market sentiment? What you need to do on cold email is get a broad range. And the way that you can do this is by sending 50 to 100,000 cold emails per month. Because what that actually allows you to do is run these surveys that the customer doesn't even know that they're participating in. Because you'll know if they open it, if they reply, if they say, let's just get on a call, if they're raving, if they just hear one thing and they hear your headline and then all of a sudden they're really interested, you know that you're onto something. But if you send 50,000, 100,000 emails and no one wants to hear a bar of what you're saying, it might just be that you have to pivot your value prop until you can get to that point. The beauty of this is that I know a lot of companies will try and talk to people in their network. They'll try and get these warm intros or talk to, whoever they really can to get feedback on their product. The problem with this is that obviously if these people have been introduced to you, they're going to be more polite to you than just a stranger. If there's a stranger who you reach out to on their email, they barely even want to be talking to you anyway. They don't even want to be hearing from you. You've just emailed them. So you can trust that the feedback that you get from a person that you emailed is going to be much more accurate and much more brutal on your product than someone who's been introduced to you, someone you know from your network. I cannot stress enough how important it is to talk to cold leads rather than warm leads, because with a cold lead, you have 1 to 2 seconds to get the customer interested. With a warm lead, you might have 1 to 2 hours. Very, very key information. If your product can get people on the phone and get people purchasing, then at this point, you're at the level of selling the solution. You want people to put their money where their mouth is. You don't want people to just say, oh, you've got such an interesting product. The most important thing is getting the actual product into the customer's hand. It will not be anywhere near as valuable as the feedback that you are getting on the product. You absolutely need the customers to test it. You need them to try it. You need to get them to request features. You need to get them to do all of these things with the product that unless you've got experience in that niche to the extent of your customer, then you won't be able to know this stuff. At this point, there's no point scaling a go-to-market strategy if you don't know that your customers want your product and that your product actually works. You can pour in as much top of funnel as you want, but if it's leaking out the bucket at the bottom, then you're not going to actually grow. What you need to do is make sure that your bucket has no leaks, that your product is very strong, and then when you eventually pour fuel on the fire, then you're going to be able to create something awesome. At this point, this might be when you can raise capital as well. You've got your initial customers, you've got your feedback, you've got your proof of concept. You might only be working with an MVP at this stage, and then what you might want to do is go ahead and raise another round, and then you can scale from there. And honestly, from there, all you need to do is look at your metrics. Some people are going to say there's an arbitrary number where you want to have XYZ customers, or you want XYZ percentage of people to say they'd be upset if the product disappeared. But truthfully, what you're going to need to do is make an intuitive call and continually try and improve the product until people just can't stop talking about it, until people just get perked up when you email them, until it's just working. No matter what or how many YouTube videos you watch or how many YC Combinator videos you watch, you're not going to be able to figure out if you're in product market fit until you either are or you aren't. The question I'd rather ask is my company working? Am I on the right track? Do I need to run more tests? And also, the number one focus metric is just the customer satisfaction. Am I building something that my customer absolutely loves? Are they super satisfied? Do they tell their friends? These are the types of things you want to genuinely look at rather than just thinking and being anxious about, am I in product market fit? Because, little hint, if your customers absolutely love your solution and they tell their friends about it and it's selling like crazy, you might be in product market fit. If no one wants to buy your stuff, then you might need to test more angles. Either way, all it is just a feedback loop and trying to get that feedback loop tighter. If you want to learn more about that, you can obviously go to the channel and subscribe. Thank you for watching. And if you want to learn how to scale quickly, you can watch that video up the top right. And I look forward to seeing you there.